welcome back to Stay Away from Narcs. I decided for this video I'm going to do it a little bit differently because I really want to get you guys involved in the comments or get your insight into the specific question that I'm going to ask you, and then I'm going to give the background and an example of my own story, how this happened to me. But the question I really want to know from you guys is, how did you guys first start getting a glimpse or an insight of knowledge of having a narcissist in your life, or knowing what the narcissist is, just getting that feeling? I'll give you my own personal story, and then you can explain your own if you feel comfortable with doing that. Because I think this is, I think it's just a phenomenon how people really come to understand how they became involved with a narcissist. And when you're getting so battered and abused, you're not, you're becoming traumatized, so you're not really in your rational mind, because trauma causes us a lot of irrational thought. Our thought process is not on point when we're traumatized and we're being abused, because our brain literally changes. It affects our mind and our body and our brain so bad that we can't even really think rationally. So being able to get insight that we are with a narcissist is really crucial. And I want to explain a little bit of my story, and then you can explain your own again if you guys would like to. So again, the question is, how did you guys start to gain insight that you were with a narcissist and that they were a narcissist? Okay, so I'll get into my story. Okay, so for my own personal story of how I found out there was a narcissist in my life, specifically my ex-narcissistic mother-in-law, I don't know exactly, because my memory at the time is really fragmented due to the trauma that I was under by this abuse again. And trauma does that. It fragments our memories because it's a defense mechanism that our mind uses, essentially. But I remember, this was around the time when the narcissist had me pulled into the relationship. I was already love bombed. I was already sucked in. I had already fell in love with her son. And, during the love bomb process, she was very keen on, if you heard in my other videos, she was very keen on, letting me travel with him, letting me, stating that we wouldn't need to have kids for years, and, we could take our time. But she was just, love bombing me in that situation. And I remember one day that I went over her house, she had flipped 180. Okay. She had flipped 180, meaning that her mask started to slip. Everything that she has stated in her love bomb process was now the opposite of that. And it really frightened me, because now she was saying, oh yeah, you guys need to not, take so long, and you guys need to hurry up when it comes to kids. Or she was saying everything that was opposite, pretty much essential to what she said in her love bomb. And I was bewildered. I was like, what the heck? Inside my mind, I was like, what the heck is going on with this woman? She just literally, it was like a flip switch, like she was 180. And I got really nervous. I got really anxious. And before that, she had given me the silent treatment. She made me feel like, again, we get the gut feeling. We have the instinctual feeling that something is not right with this person, and why are they making me feel this way? Giving me the silent treatment, not answering my text back, because it's the narcissist. Feeling essentially instinctually like we're being manipulated, instinctually like we're being played with and toyed with, but we just can't put it into words. We don't have the rational thought that they're playing and toying with us, because there's nothing really that, again, overt that would entail that. But we have that feeling, and essentially I got that feeling around her, especially that day when she flipped 180, and everything that she was telling me was just, I remember I went home that night and I got on Google. I pulled up my laptop and I was sitting on the couch and I was Googling, I don't remember exactly what I Googled, but something along the line of toxic relationships. It was something that had the phrase toxic relationship in the search. And I believe I put toxic relationship in there because I felt the toxicity of this person. It's not because I knew what a toxic relationship was. I had no recollection of what narcissism was at the time. I think back at the time, now that I think on it, I had heard the word narcissist and malignant narcissist like once or twice, pretty much in my whole entire adult life that I could recall. And one time it was when the guy from Cleveland had abducted the 3 women in his home, and the investigators find out that he was, a malignant narcissist. And that's the first time I remember, because I was really keen to that case because I'm from Northeast Ohio, and I was really watching that case a lot, and they kept saying that he was a malignant narcissist. And toxic relationships, I had no recollection of, other than what I had seen, on Instagram and social media, and people, discussing toxic relationships that I could really, portray back in my mind. So subconsciously I was going back to those, posts that I was reading about a relationship being toxic or people being toxic, because I felt like, I had somebody in my family that was an alcoholic, and I felt that like they were toxic. But at the time I thought, only alcoholics or drug abusers were toxic people. I didn't really have a whole recollection of anything about narcissism and really anything about what a toxic relationship is or how toxic a person can be. But I searched the word toxic relationship, and I got articles on people who are narcissists. Like, it gave me a list of certain people that could be toxic in a relationship, and I think one was like borderline, another one was narcissistic, somebody that has narcissistic personality disorder. And I remember just skimming through the article, and again, I was really in a traumatized state. I was really in a depersonalized state, very dissociated. I was not really grounded and present at that time. So I really just skimmed the article and couldn't really rationally think at the moment. And, I read the article, I sort of understood it, but I didn't think, I didn't really fully understand it. And I didn't, I was like, no, this person is not a narcissist. I had that thought. I was like, and I just put it away. Like, I searched a couple times and I just put it away, and I kept going about my business. So then eventually I started to notice more and more my gut feeling of something is not right here. This person is off. I kept getting more signs that the narcissist was a narcissist. But again, I didn't have the term. The Google searches that I did, I really, forgot about them eventually. But I just didn't feel right. And I felt the whole situation with this person was not something that I really wanted to be in. But again, I did not pay attention to my gut instinct, and that was the number one thing that I did wrong. I kept avoiding my gut instinct. I kept avoiding that gut feeling because I felt like I can get through this, we can get through this. I'm in love with her son, so I will do it for her son. And I was in love, so I kept trying to push myself through the process. Eventually, again, I said that, she started to do more and more things that made me feel uneasy. And eventually I just got really ticked off with some of the stuff that she was doing, because it became very apparent, especially during her devaluation process of me and her degrading me. It became very apparent to me that she was doing this on purpose. And little by little, I started listening to my gut and what it was telling me, because she would, complain to her son about me, and I felt that he was being passive aggressive towards me in the manner that, because what his mother was saying to him. And I felt that. And that's what essentially made me listen to my gut more and more, is because when he I was in love with him, so that was really what was keeping me, held into the relationship. But when he sort of became passive aggressive towards me more and more, I sort of saw the dynamic of how his mother was putting things in his head about me, or he was subconsciously in a relationship with his mother with me. And I felt that, and I started listening to my gut instinct for it. And, I put a pause on me being in love with him. Essentially, I started to lose respect for him and started listening to my gut. And it's what really saved me. But ultimately, after right before I get to the ultimate part. But after I started to see that he was becoming passive aggressive and I really started to listen to my gut more, I started to research online a little bit more, and I started to go back to those Google searches of those articles about narcissists, and they started to become a bit, clearer and clearer as time went on. And the more I started to listen to my gut, the more these articles were making sense to me, the more that I felt that this person could be a quote-unquote narcissist. But ultimately, there were two things that really exposed them being a narcissist and me really understanding narcissism and me going no contact with this person. And they were very overt, okay? Because the article was very covert, and the way that it was giving me information that it could potentially be this person. But I really got the true answer. And I feel like it was God that sent this, because I feel like God does everything in truth. I feel like, the truth will always prevail, and I am a testimony of that. I'm a testimony that the truth will come out eventually. And the truth exposes itself. The narcissist exposes themselves, or somebody that's close to the narcissist will expose the narcissist for what they are. Or somebody that is meant to be brought forward with the truth will bring the truth to you. So I was in this moment, in this period of, I'm reading these articles, I'm understanding this stuff, I feel like this person is a narcissist, but I don't really believe it, right? And that's that cognitive dissonance that we go through, where our feelings and our thinking doesn't match up. I don't really believe that this person is a narcissist, but I feel like they are, right? And I couldn't get aligned, and I couldn't, I was distancing myself from the narcissist at this point, but I still felt like I was crazy. I still felt like I could be crazy, in that maybe I'm just going too much into this investigative process, and maybe it's just all in my head, or maybe I'm just feeling too much emotion, right? And right at that moment when I was feeling that way, one of two things happened. Number one, I get a call from my mom that, one night that I was keeping my distance from the narc. I didn't want to be involved with them. I wasn't sure. But she called me and she said, hey, there's this person at work that, he used to work the night shift, but he started to work the day shift with me, and he used to be a neighbor of your ex and his mom. And I'm like, really? And she's like, yeah. And he had asked her, like, is your daughter engaged to so-and-so? Because he was neighbors of my ex and his mother, and he really wanted to know if I was really engaged of him, because he had heard that I was engaged to him. And so he asked my mom, and my mom was like, yeah, my daughter's engaged to this person. And my mom said that when she said, yes, I'm engaged to him, his eyes just widened up really wide in a really frightened manner, and he told my mom to tell me to don't do it and to stay away. And I said, what? And my mom was like, yeah. And I'm like, why? And he's like, because the woman is crazy. And when I heard that, I got chills up my spine. I couldn't believe it. And I'm like, by the woman you mean his mother, right? And he's like, and my mom's like, yeah. He said that the woman is crazy and to stay away. And in the moment, I could not believe it, but I felt like that message for me was heaven sent, because everything that I had been feeling, everything in my gut that was telling me this woman is a bad person, this woman is not good, she's trying to abuse you, she's trying to manipulate you, just confirmed it. It just confirmed that you're not the only one who believes this. There's people out there that know that this woman is crazy, that they know that this woman is a quote-unquote narcissist. And I really wanted more details as to what he was saying specifically, but that's really all I needed in that point. And like the guy that was working with my mom, he really emphasized me stay away from the relationship. And everything in me and everything that my gut that I had been feeling was I felt finally at ease, and I felt finally like my prayers had essentially been answered, because subconsciously I was praying that I would find the true answers. And even, consciously I was praying that I would find the true answers, that, and the people around me, I think, that cared about me were praying for me also. So that was one of the number one things that grounded me in the fact that the truth is the truth, and what you feel in your gut to be the truth, listen to it. Please, guys. Okay? That was one of the number one things. And the second thing that really, really, to top it off, like, it was the cherry on top of the whole Sunday, really to top it off, was one day when my ex, he had gotten in a fight with his narcissistic mother-in-law. She was enraged. She threw him out the house. He was very scared. He wanted to meet up with me, and when I met up with him, he was very in a panic. He didn't want to obey her. He didn't want to be on her side. He didn't want to lose me, essentially, because that's what his narcissistic mother-in-law, he saw that she was trying to pull us apart. I was sitting in the car with him, and I busted out crying. He's in a panic. We don't know what we're doing. And I told him, I was like, I can't do this anymore. And he became very frightened. And I don't know what it was in me. Again, I was very in a traumatized state at this point, so I could not, my rational thoughts were not, like, even though that this person, his neighbor had told me, stay away, I was still in a very irrational state. I was still in a very toxic state. And I was still in love with my ex at this point. So I did want to be with him, but I had the feeling all over me and in my gut that I can't be with him. So I told my ex, like, I can't be with you. I don't know. And out of my mouth, I just blurted out, your mom's a narcissist. Like, it wasn't a question. It was a statement. I was like, your mom's a narcissist. And he screams and he shouts, yes, but in a very, like, relieving way. And I look at him and I was like, I knew it. And he looked at me and he was like, how did you find out? How do you know? I was like, I felt it. She showed all the signs. And he was so bewildered that I had found out that she was a narcissist, because his mom was so covert and so good at manipulating others. He believed that nobody would be able to see her for who she really is. And when he saw that I knew the truth, that I saw her for what she truly was, he couldn't believe it. And I don't think he still believes it to this day. I think he still denies it to this day that I know the truth. And yeah, so basically that's my story. He was very distraught and he just couldn't believe it. I remember there was another time he asked me, like, he insisted on asking me, how did I know? How did I know? How did I know that his mom was a narcissist? Like, how did you know that? And I simply told him, like, and this is, my opinion, I don't know anybody else's religious background, but I told him, I was like, God knows. I was like, God knows the truth, and the truth will expose itself. And he sort of nodded his head in agreement to that. Like, in a subconscious way, he was agreeing. He sort of, like, I think he never thought that he would see the day when somebody would understand that his mother was a narcissist, because again, she was so good at manipulating other people. And he just, like, he felt like the truth, there is truth. And so yeah, thank you guys for listening. If you made it this far, if you guys want me to talk more about this subject, feel free, please. I would like to know your own stories, if you can put them in the comments below. And thank you very much. If you'd like me to do a part 2 or explain more on the subject, again, I will be more than welcome to do this. Again, if you have any other topics, also put them in the comments below. I hope you stay safe, you guys. I wish you the best, and please stay away from narcs.